Okay, welcome to our first video on UDK, or the Unreal Development Kit. After you guys have installed the newest version and you're running it, you're going to be sitting at this screen here where it's a preloaded level. We're not going to use this. We're going to go ahead and create our own level, but there's a couple things I wanted to walk you through first before we get into making our level. First off, we're going to talk about navigating the interface. As it is right now, if you use your left mouse button, you can look around, move in, move out of your level. If you hold down your right mouse button, you can look around like you would as if you're in a first-person shooter. Now, on the first-person shooters, one of the things you're definitely going to want to set up here, under your preferences, you're going to want to go under Flight Camera Controls and make sure that this option here, use WASD only when right mouse button is held down. You want to make sure you have that option on, so when you hold down your right mouse button, you can use first-person shooter controls, WSAD, to navigate around, both panning and strafing and moving in and out of the level. Okay, without that on, if you hit the W and Q keys, those keys are already assigned to hide and reveal materials, so it can get pretty confusing if you're playing around with W and Q trying to navigate. It's easier to set up that right click to prevent you from messing things up or getting confused. The other important thing we're going to be talking about is setting up our viewports. Right now I am a maximized perspective view viewport. If I hold down the Alt key and hit the X key, that will bring up the viewport that has the orthographic views. So we have our standard views here, we have our top here, and we have our side and our front. You can tell here where it indicates what this is. This is the front view, this is the side view, perspective view for P, and T for top. And we can move around these views just by clicking and dragging and scrubbing around. Using your mouse wheel, zooms in and out. And then of course down here we can still use our commands we just discussed. You can always tell what viewport you currently have selected because there'll be a yellow bar all the way around it. So we're going to go ahead and get started by creating a new document. In this case we want to choose a blank map. Okay, and this will bring up this view here, which is this empty world. And you'll see we just have this big red box and a red box in the center. This red box is called our builder brush, and we can manipulate this brush. We can move it around by selecting it. Dragging these arrows here allows us to move it. And as you see, as I move it, you'll see that my viewports also update. I'm going to go ahead and maximize my perspective viewport so we can kind of see everything we're doing here. And I'm going to go ahead and zoom around this box, and you can see how it sits on our grid. And we're going to go kind of from here. Okay, so the first we're going to talk about are different kinds of brushes. You'll see over here as I move my mouse over here, we have different kinds of brushes: cube, cone, stairs, etc. Really, the ones you're going to use, you maybe use some cylinders sometimes. Mainly you're going to be using cube brushes. I really recommend you stay away from these other brushes. They're very difficult to use and to texture, and a lot of the times if you're going to be using stairs and stuff like that, they're called static meshes, which we'll cover in a later video, that are pre-made 3D staircases rather than using these BSPs. So when we click our brush, if you right click on it, it will bring up our builder brush cube where we can choose different settings. You'll see we have an X, Y, and Z value, and we can also adjust wall thickness if we make it hollow. Now when I make it hollow, you'll see it adds an inner cube inside of it. That means that the inside is hollow, meaning that like we can make a box and create a level inside of this box. Now right now the values are set to 256 by 256 by 256. A standard character inside of this application is 90 units tall. So 90 units means that this is roughly a little more than twice the height of a person, which is a pretty decent size for a roof. So this isn't bad to start with. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and use this just because it's a good start. So I'm going to go ahead and hit build, and you'll see that pretty much nothing happens. That's because the builder brush itself doesn't create geometry. It just allows us to kind of see what it's going to look like and paints it basically. The way we create geometry is under here under the CSG setting. You'll see we have this option here to CSG add. This is an additive application. You don't really want to use a lot of other things except subtract if we're going to be hollowing things out. But because this already is hollowed out, we don't need subtract. We're going to hit add. As soon as I hit that, you'll see it creates a box that we can look at. And just for simplicity's sake, I'm going to go ahead and click on this builder brush and drag it out of the way so we can get a better look at our box. Now this is the outside of the box, but if I go inside the box, you'll see that it did create an inside the box. And I can actually play inside of this box. If I click on this blue arrow here, it'll drop me in here, and you're like, oh man, it's super dark. The reason why it's dark is because there is no lighting yet, and because it is a box, obviously there's no light going to be cast in it. So for what we're going to do right now, just so we can look at it, we're going to go ahead and we're going to add a light by simply holding down the L key and clicking on the floor. Now you'll see we have the same manipulator here. I'm going to go ahead and drag this light up a little bit. It doesn't matter the size of the light. In this particular case, it's just a default light. And I'll go ahead and rebuild my lighting. The way I do that is here up on the top. We have build lighting and build geometry. So I'll click build lighting and go ahead and run that. Allow my swarm access. Go ahead and, this is how we build stuff. It's going to load swarm. It's going to try and process our lighting. It really shouldn't take very long because there's virtually no geometry here. It's going to give me an error. Yes, I know there are no paths. I'll go ahead and close that. And then I'll run this again with my baked light. And now you'll see I actually do have light inside my level. So this is some basics, and we're going to get a little more detailed here in a little bit. Thanks for watching this video, and look forward to the next one. Thanks.